John.
You know how hot is it?
And she's gonna give it to you, and they're gonna set up a meeting.
Okay, I get it. I get it,
I'll
yeah.
let you know that, but it took a long time to get it back to you, but I know they did it all that session.
Is it hot in here? Okay.
I say, sister, was some
There you go.
Government policy work session to order. Councilwoman Jackson, if you'll be so kind to give us an invitation.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you right now for your presence, Lord God. We thank you for the glory of who you are, Lord God. We just thank you for the honor of knowing, of being in acquaintance with you, Lord God. Thank you for loving us in spite of us, Lord God. We ask that you will lead us and guide us in this meeting, that we may do your will and yours alone to the glory of your name. In Jesus Christ's holy, precious, and righteous name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilwoman Jackson. Citizens request, Ms. Owens, would you please come forward?
Thank you very kindly. Thank you for having me to come up to President Bowie and all of the honorable members of this fabulous city council. It's a pleasure to come before you. I stand before you with a request for any type of financial assistance you can assist us with. And I'm going to read the letter that I wrote to Mr. President Bowie. Dear Council President Bowie, a group of 17 Congolese women from the Democratic Republic of the Congo will be arriving here in the United States on May 22nd. They're here in Atlanta, Georgia. Historic Selma is one of the locations the women wish to visit and will arrive at the Welcoming Center, and that will be not the Welcoming Center, but the Interpretive Center. Okay, on Thursday, May 30th, 2019 at 10:30 a.m. The Selma Dallas County Women Committee for the Democratic Republic of the Congo would like your input and assistance in welcoming these first-time visitors from Africa to the United States, and more importantly, to Selma. Our Women's Committee would like to request that the Selma City Council host a small event welcoming these first-time visitors into our city, or any other welcome by the City Council benefiting to receive our guests. Many advance thanks for your positive consideration and participation. Respectfully submitted, Cindy Owens.
Okay.
Now, these women will be coming to retrace their ancestral voyage from the Congo, the slave ports of the Congo. Of course, they arrived in Atlanta today, and then they'll be traveling from Atlanta to Jamestown, Virginia, and from there they'll be going to the Carolinas and then to Alabama. That's where their ancestors were finally deposited as enslaved Africans. So they will be commemorating the 400th year of our enslavement.
Okay. How many?
17 women.
17.
17.
17.
Okay.
Okay.
17.
I didn't think we could do something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr.
Oh,
President.
Sure.
Councilwoman Young.
Could I just go ahead and throw this out?
Please.
I would be extremely honored to host, to help to set this up and host this. I really feel like as a Caucasian woman, it would be, and council member, it would be very much in order.
Sure, and we have Mrs. Medley's here, and she has already agreed
Good, I
to
think.
help us. She's already
I would
agreed
think that'd
to
be
us.
wonderful.
Sure.
And I would like to ask Ms. Jackson and Ms. Benjamin and Ms. Thomas, who I know would be overjoyed to help, and certainly all the male council members too, but we know who really does this kind of stuff. And given the time of day that it will be, I think if you don't mind checking with the Interpretive Center, they have a nice area upstairs where that they could probably set up, or or it may be that one of us might need to contact them, and I don't mind calling that because
I've made a date with the Interpretive Center.
Great.
on the 30th.
Now, if they want to charge we might need to remind them that the building belongs to the city of Selma, so it shouldn't be a charge for
Thank
us.
you. That's what we were trying to avoid.
Yeah, and, you know, if we could get somebody to help, like with the cleanup.
Sure.
So, you know, to clean up after, but I would be glad to see that we have maybe coffee and conversation and,
Coffee
and
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 some-
cakes and things
Sounds
like
great.
that, some
Some
little
little
sweet
snacks.
things,
Yeah.
you know, snacks
What
and
I
things
do is
like
I
that.
get some from the coffee shop, I talk to Ms. Wade, maybe some sandwiches or something.
Good.
So I put it in for the first thing in the morning.
Great, that would be wonderful.
And might I add, I was in the Congo last October, and we were well received. It was a wonderful trip. I went to Nkamba. The Bible references the area as Garden of Eden.
Oh, man, I want to see pictures.
And so I was there, and the women were well received. And by the way, that area, the Congo, Kinshasa, is the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The women, it's a matrilineal society, so that's why the women are coming first. Just want to throw that out.
I
Just want to put that out there.
Cheryl, I hope that you'll.
Yeah, she's already talked to.
Connect.
Yeah,
Okay,
we've
great.
made contact. We've already made
Wonderful,
contact.
I think that's
She has
great.
agreed to be there to represent
I
them.
know, my heart is full.
Thank you so very much. Thank you all for having. Yeah, they get about 10:30 in the morning, between 10:30 and 11. They're traveling, so 10:30, 11 o'clock, they should be here. So,
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you,
As,
thank you.
Very
Councilwoman,
welcome.
Duncan has already stated, we will work vigorously to
Thank
ensure
you.
that this is a great experience for
Great
us here
experience,
in
and
the
they wanted
historic
to come to
Selma.
Selma. Can you imagine? They wanted to come, when I was in the Congo, they talked about Selma.
Yes, I can imagine.
Selma, Alabama, and Dr. King, that's who they talked about. So I took little gifts to them when I went there last October. So thank you all very kindly. Appreciate you guys. I love you, what you all are doing. Keep up the good work. Go Selma.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
All right, I guess then we'll take citizen request. Next we have Mr. Andres with the AT&T. Please sample. I have two resolutions that I passed out.
Good afternoon, President, Council. My name is David Andrews. I'm with CMS. I'm the city's consultant for wireless telecommunications and have been for several years. Before in the past, we didn't come before you in a work session, so this is kind of new for you guys and us too. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask. We have two resolutions that'll be on the agenda next week. Both are for modifications for AT&T, and both of these is on existing cell towers. I'll start with the one on 300 Karen Street. This is being done for a capacity upgrade in that area, which basically means that the users in that area will be able to move more data through their phones. What they're wanting to do, they currently have 9 antennas mounted on the tower. They're wanting to take 3 of those antennas down and put up a new model in their place. They're also wanting to add some feed lines to the tower. We have reviewed the application that has been submitted to the city, and we recommend approval on that one. The second resolution is for the tower at 4 Marina Drive. This is actually a FirstNet upgrade, and if you've heard of the FirstNet, it's for public safety. I'm not sure if Selma uses any of the FirstNet, but this is to upgrade this site so it'll be capable of providing the FirstNet service through AT&T. And it's the same. They currently have 9 antennas on the tower. They're wanting to remove 3 of those antennas and put up new antennas, which will include new remote radio units for each antenna. They will also be adding additional feed lines to that tower as well. CMS has reviewed that application as well and recommends approval by the council.
Okay, as I know this, in the past, this has been routinely for the council to vote on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are there any Councilwoman Benjamin and Councilman LaShure?
You said that they are, FirstNet upgrade.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, what is FirstNet?
FirstNet, it was approved by the state, and it is a phone service that has preemption services that's available for first responders, and that's not just your fire department, your police department, but that's also city workers and others in your city can sign on to this service. And basically, you swap through AT&T to this FirstNet service. And basically, what the FirstNet service is it's a preemption service. So if you have a natural disaster, or if you have an event in your city where you have a large amount of people and you have capacity issues, it allows those FirstNet users basically preemption to get cell service when others doesn't. So there's a lot of things online, and I can provide you with further information if you need it. But basically, in times of need, where you would not have service, or because of capacity issues you would have drop calls, it basically puts those subscribers to the front of the schedule, and they get service where others don't.
Okay, I asked you because, for the 50th anniversary of, the Bridge Crossing Jubilee, we had the most massive crowd that I have ever seen in Selma, Alabama. And it was the 50th, and I'm 50. A massive crowd, and there were communication issues that we were told about. You're saying that any government entity like that, first responders or those who may need access, can sign on.
Correct.
Where does the permission and the approval come from to sign on to this? How are we preempting?
Well, the service, the phone service is actually preempted through AT&T.
Okay.
So that's how I'm not sure who the city uses as far as public safety, as far as phone service. I don't know if we use AT&T or Verizon, but it would require that the city switch to this service.
That's what I thought.
So you would need to contact AT&T to get on this service. Now they'll be this service will be statewide, so it doesn't matter if you have AT&T or FirstNet service in Selma, or if you have it in Huntsville, Alabama. It's going to be statewide. It's required to be statewide through the state.
And they're adding additional towers, right?
Correct.
So these are new structures?
No, sir, no maintenance. These are existing structures,
Just
and
modified.
what they're doing is adding the service to this structure, so this structure is capable of producing that service.
Okay, so towers, you're not constructing anything?
No, ma'am,
Just
we're just
adding
modifying what's there.
Okay, I thought I heard you say adding additional towers. Okay,
no,
so
ma'am.
you're adding to the towers?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Councilman Jordan, Councilwoman Johnson.
Yeah, let me ask you, about 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago, AT&T came up to my house and made some modification to this service with the intent of having across the board service, internet, cable. When do AT&T intend to bring cable to Selma, Alabama?
Sir, I'm not sure I can answer that. I'm a consultant for the city, so I actually work for the city, and we only do wireless telecommunications. So we only work with cell phone towers. AT&T has a lot of different branches. They do cable, they do home phone, things like that, and we don't work any applications or anything that doesn't involve wireless signals.
Would you inquire about when AT&T intend to bring cable to Selma? Because that was the purpose of them coming out, changing out all type of equipment in my home. And being an AT&T customer for, ever since I was able to purchase the telephone. And my
Yes,
wife
sir.
being an AT&T employee for a number of years. It really pleased me to hear that they was gonna bring cable possibilities. And that was the reason for changing out some communication equipment that will be required once the cable is able to be accessed into the city of Selma. So could you find out when AT&T intends to bring cable to Selma, Alabama? Because that was the intent for them coming out making all these changes.
I will try to do that, and I'll get you a contact person that maybe you can get in touch with that can answer that for you.
Thank you.
But I apologize that I can't answer that.
Thank you. Give me that contact person and I'll call them, maybe they can give me some answers.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Jackson and Councilman Bowman.
Okay, don't quote me on this, but if I recall correctly, because I'm getting old and things are running together, but we have first response if you recall, I think that was what Ms. Curtis came to us about. And what they said at that time was they were gonna need to expand, and it seems as if these additional towers on the towers is expansion she was talking about months ago, because you brought to her attention that in certain spots that you weren't able to get service, including your home, on the phone when we had a cell phone, and they
The
said
AT&T
that
representative was here.
the AT&T
brought
representative. So
us
I think we've signed on, and so this is the additional work that they told us would be coming. So I'm glad to see that, if I recall correctly.
I'm sorry, you said you work with the city, you work for the city?
I work for CMS. We're consultants for the city.
I got you.
We have been since the late 90s. So
Y'all consult on,
on cell projects.
I got you.
Anything from a modification to co-location to a new tower.
I got you.
We work for the city, and what we do is actually do the technical reviews for the applications as far as structural analysis and safety of the tower and those type items. And then
Okay.
we come to the city council to have it approved as a special use permit. We've been doing that for years. Things are just kind of the way we have been getting things permitted has changed, so.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Mr. Brown,
go ahead, Councilman.
are you indicating that you work for the city?
Yes, sir, I represent the city, yes, sir.
Are you on contract with the city?
Yes, sir, we have a contract with the city, but it's a no-cost contract to the city.
Okay.
So the carriers pay for our services.
I got you, thank you.
So for every application that comes to the city, everyone that you approve, you get an application fee of $2,000 for each application. And if it's a new tower, you get an application fee of $5,000, and that's a non-refundable fee that the city collects it's not refundable. In addition to that, for every one of these projects, they have to put up an escrow account to pay for our services. So all of our services are paid out of an escrow account, so we don't cost the city any money.
Let me ask, for the two resolutions, are they two separate $2,000 fees, or is one?
Correct, two.
So $4,000 we should be looking for Ms. Treasurer to ensure that we get. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Put both of them on consent.
Yeah, we usually do.
Yeah, it's so routine. Go ahead, Councilman.
Where is my telephone this way?
Sorry.
They have an account.
They have a separate account. It's
Yeah,
not a double two account.
dedicated
Correct.
for it. So we deposit some, a portion goes to us, and then a portion goes back, am I correct?
Correct. When they submit an application to the city, they submit an application fee, and they submit an escrow account to the treasurer. And that money is deposited with the city. Any work that we do, we actually send a bill to the city, and the city pays us out of that escrow account. And any money left over at the end in the escrow account, we send back to the applicant. So the city nor CMS keeps the applicant's money. Now, the application fee that's submitted to the city is a non-refundable fee, and the city retains that money. Correct.
All right, any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you, sir. We'll put it on consent agenda and move forward with that. All right. Any other questions? Also, too, council members, I passed out, business, applied for business, not business, but alcohol license. I think Ms. Harrison mentioned it to me that it was three, one for Scott's, one for a one-time event on Jazz on the Grass, and
Oh, is it right?
and one for a new venue, Mr. Lewis. They would all go on first reading, all three would go on first reading.
All these particular.
Yeah. I mean,
I
yes.
just want to see the one from Jazz
Yeah.
Underground, the young man from Jazz Underground.
So we go ahead and put all three of them on consent agenda.
I don't have one. Is there another?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, I mean.
I just have one.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are all the?
Okay, I will make sure that you have a copy of it for Tuesday. I know one of them is on Alabama Avenue, down the street from On Time Fashion, and Scott is on down 14, the old Rogers line.
I remember that one.
Uh-huh.
That was on 14, and this, the other one's Jazz and Grass.
Who's that?
Charles Scott.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
the little guy that
Uh-huh.
The
Did the, one down on Broad Street?
Yes.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have,
And then we went on the outskirts.
outskirts, down 14.
Rogers left.
Yes.
I know where Rogers is.
Yeah, we know what that is.
Susan, you shouldn't have hit that open forum like this.
I said I know where it is.
I'm not sure where it
This
is.
must be the whole state.
Yeah, I don't know because, I mean,
Did you say 2 liquor licenses or 3?
it was 3. One for Jazz on the Grass.
Okay.
Uh,
Drips,
Yeah, Drips, yeah.
Drips Lounge.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Oh,
on,
they dripping,
Drips.
dripping, baby.
yeah, that's gonna be on Selma Avenue,
Still,
down for Long Time Fashion.
you gave me Johnson, right?
Alabama.
Alabama, yeah. But it's gonna be on First Street, you know.
Drips, hey, whatever happened to Graham City? Is that still in
They
business?
became unsexy.
I think it got fat. What is it?
Graham City?
Oh, no, that's drip too.
Is it trying to do the?
Yeah, but
You
we're
got
looking,
some Scott.
yeah, we're looking at putting all 3 on consent agenda.
You got
It's
Jazz
gonna
on the
be
Grass,
for
Councilman?
first reading though, that's it.
I want to make you all aware that Councilwoman Thomas is on her way. She's running the bill.
Is Rogers in the city limits?
No.
PJ.
Okay. Is, it's gonna be Club 27?
Yes.
Drip Lounge and Scott's 26.
You have all 3 of them?
I got a whole lot of drip.
Well,
I just got a whole lot of drip. I just wanted to see
I will
Jazz on
make
the grass. Okay, I'll get back to you.
for future reference, I'll make sure I get here in time to make sure we,
So that's drips?
Yeah, that's drip. That's a lot of drip.
I don't drop.
Do we?
I just wanted to see Jazz on the
Yeah,
grass.
it's gonna be 3 of them.
With the Z.
No, but it's gonna,
With the Z.
Drills.
Drips.
it's gonna be all 3, like I said, all 3 of them gonna be on first reading. Just put them on consent agenda so we can
Got
move
you.
forward.
I'm so glad.
All right, now to the business items. Go ahead.
Is this tobacco sales as well?
Where is it?
On the drips?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we have.
What they got, cigar?
If it goes on
There's
first
no,
reading.
there's no
Basically, I think that's gonna give us ample amount of time within the 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks.
to get.
That's why, that's why we're gonna put it on first reading.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, you know him, Councilman. Yeah, yeah. Jarvis, Ski Lewis,
Oh.
yeah. All right, to the business item, business item number 1, resolution for fire station number 5. First off, hopefully, 2 weeks tonight, we will go to reopen there. I do have a plan, but I'm gonna give it to Chief Graham, let him look at it first before I give it to the council members. I would have it in your box probably tomorrow evening, but I believe in Father Chambers may allow him to look at it prior to passing out to the council members. So it's gonna be very important that, at least we do make every effort to reopen that fire station because you're looking at it could impact ISO insurance rate. And keep in mind, just recently, we had a fire less than a mile away
Yes, we did.
from that.
Right at it, the fire department.
Right at the fire department. And,
Cut on hose from the fire.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a term that, doing research, I've been reading some fire magazines, one of my friends encouraged me to read. It's a term called browning out. It's just basically just a reorganization, but I do have some information here for him, but I definitely wanted to respect him enough to let him read over it before I submit it to the council members.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
So this station is in Ward 4. Y'all know where it is. It's right across the street from Cedar Park Elementary School, right down from where I live. It's in a very concentrated area.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
Yeah, right down the street from you too.
It is.
I gotta get used to you moving down the street. But it's in a very concentrated area, so I just wanna ask you y'all to really, really think hard about this when you get ready to vote on it. It is necessary and needed, so it sits in Ward 4, but it's right contiguous with Ward 7, Ward 2, and it's right close to Ward 5. Right up the street is Ward 2, and right connected to Ward 2 is Ward 7. And then on the other side is Ward 5. So this one right here, right on the very line of Valley Grand, that one is very necessary and very needed. And I would venture to say that they all are very necessary and very needed.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I haven't read, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know what's in
I
there.
don't know what's in that plan, but I've been thinking about this ever since it was brought to us. And I know it's being closed because of manpower. But I think all of our fire stations could be manned by 2 people.
I agree.
That's part of the plan.
Okay.
3.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if we open this,
I also included in the plan, include a risk management.
Yeah.
Spell that out,
Yeah.
and also, rediagram,
Yeah.
basically how many we can have,
Until we build up our.
till we can build up our.
yeah, they need to be open. And Mr. President, I
Yes.
want to commend you for doing that, because it's been heavy on my heart. And we all have, Selma has a lot of elderly people. We do have a lot of old folks. But especially in that area, I know my mother-in-law used to live over right up there, Cedar, yeah, there are a lot of old folks that live on the Summerfield Road. A lot of people who are retired and who live there and who love the area. I've still got a little strip of folks along there, and just not as many as you do, and Ms. Thomas has some. So I commend you, and I'm glad to see that. I think we can use one of our fire stations, like Councilman LaShore said, but I commend you for doing that, and that's been heavy on my heart. I just don't, especially don't think we can, that is close to I agree.
All right, any other questions, comments? Next, my business item is the landfill compactor. Check with Mrs. Wade and also Ms. Harrison to see, can we go to the bid list, to see, can we get a used, landfill compactor? Because I looked at some, I think that would probably be the best way that we can go during this time, if it's a used one. Because when you're looking at a new one, we're looking at over $100,000. And if we can go to a surplus and we can find one in a reasonable means, hopefully we can pursue using, purchasing that. And that leads into my third business item, the lodging tax. If we can talk with Attorney Lee and see, can we just use our lodging tax bill ordinance for that, which is capital improvement, which includes stuff that we need to buy, and also street pavements and whatever we need to do. Because on average, we are receiving with the lodging tax about $10,000 to $11,000 a month. But make sure that it's strictly earmarked just for capital equipment and stuff like that. Okay, hello. I seen Councilman Romaine. I think I seen, which one y'all was first?
I think you can do me last, but because
Councilman Jackson
change.
and,
My question.
Councilman
Yeah.
Youngblood. Go ahead.
Just a cursory glimpse of that site we talked about, that auction company, and there are 4, 5, 6, 7 compactors, some with 10 hours or less. So, I don't know, can we go to auction houses and buy?
We can go to the state, they have bid, we are on the bid list.
So we couldn't go to this auction company and make a bid?
I'll check into it, but we, normally what happens is, in the past, is that we went to the state to see what they had available online, or usually the former public works director would go in person, and then we would get an invoice for it, and then we have so many days to pay for it.
Okay.
You got some good prices on
Yeah, it's a bid, so,
You said, what did you mean by 10 days? What did you say?
10 hours.
10 hours.
10 hours.
Usage, I guess.
It's like, yeah, it's, equipment, it's hour usage that's gonna determine the viability, or, if it's old or not, as far as how much use it's
What
had.
does 10 hours mean?
It means it's been operated for 10 hours.
A day and 2 hours.
So it has an hour counter on
Like
the
brand
sheet.
new?
Right, it's just been used 10 hours, so it's only been.
I was just wondering why something
Yeah.
brand new was on surplus, it threw me.
No, it's an older piece of equipment, but they didn't use it very often.
Oh,
So they
okay.
had it, and then this company gets, auction items, they have to have viability to them for them to sell them again.
Yeah.
And that's how they make their money. So usually at auction, you can get something better than you can in some places, so that's why I was suggesting earlier.
10 hours, hey.
President Bowie, maybe look at the company right down 80 that does this and see if they had anything that was viable for us.
What's the price range on that, you?
Yeah, I don't know, it's a bid, it says you wanna make a bid.
I know a lot of state.
I don't wanna bid, so I'm just gonna say, oh, okay, I can call them right now.
Yeah, I know a lot of state agencies, they use that, as far as with vehicles and stuff like that.
A lot of times state stuff is beaten up pretty hard before you get it versus
Yeah.
this stuff that was used 10 hours.
All right, Councilwoman Jackson,
Are we currently leasing or do we have any?
we're currently leasing now.
Did we approve it?
No.
5K a month from now. Am I correct, Ms. Wade?
Yes, right.
5K a month.
Did we approve it?
Not to my recollection. I don't know. I have to go back and look at the minutes, but I don't.
No, ma'am.
No, we did
No, I
not.
don't recall it.
So how are we utilizing, in contract with anyone and paying that amount of money and we haven't approved it? How are we doing it? Can we start there? Because how long have we been in this contract? Does anyone?
Do you know, Ms. Wade?
What, maybe 1 or 2 months, and I hope, hoping we're talking about the same equipment, but there is some equipment that we're leasing on a month for $5,000 a month, because it was broke down or something.
Yeah,
so it's
like that's
the same
fine.
thing.
Can you come back there?
I can't, I'm sorry, Ms. Wade, I couldn't
Oh,
hear you.
there's a piece of equipment that we're leasing for $5,000 a month, I'm assuming this is the same one.
It is.
And I think it's probably been about 2 or 3 months.
So I remember when this came before the council. The council didn't make a decision at that moment. It had to come back before us and decide.
I don't recall.
But we went ahead, or someone went ahead and approved that we did this. Are we in a contract? See, we're saying we're gonna purchase something now. But
That's
we
why-
may be in a long-term contract. We may be in a year contract. We may have already signed a 2-year
That's why I asked
contract.
Ms. Wade to go in.
Until we get that information, we need to hold on bidding, looking at anything, because we could have already put ourselves in a 5-year lease.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean, if they went, the administration or whoever went with the company that was here, then we would look at least 7 years.
But I don't think we can look at it this way, because I know, if you can bring up that information, I'll say to us.
If you just let us know, because if we're already in the lease and we're gonna go out and buy one, we'll be making two paper.
Mr. President.
Might be silly.
Madam Treasurer, when you find out concerning the contract, would you bring us a signed copy? And I'd like to see you sign the contract. Yes.
And in addition to, before I go to Councilwoman Youngblood, you know, May is coming to a close, and I think a lot of our employees, our employees, unemployment should be running out at the end of May. Could you get a list of all vacation time of employees? I know it's gonna fluctuate, to see how much we got a mass total amount. And could you bring it back to the council?
Vacation time for the ones that are.
Vacation, yeah, for the ones laid off. Go.
You're talking about 2 weeks.
Yeah, 80 hours. Some may not have that much, but we definitely need.
Yes, we want to help.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got Councilwoman Youngblood, then Councilwoman.
Sometime back, we had talked about the chipper and mulcher, and we had approved getting that and actually put it in the budget because Ricky Shelby with, I think it's Black Belt Free Service, or Ricky Shelby, whatever, he has like a $35,000 chipper mulcher that he had bought, and he's only used it about 4 or 5 times, and he said he would sell it to the city for $7,000, and that was just a kind of pretty much a gift to the city, and that deal is still good. I talked to him about a month ago. I wanted to see if, and I know that we're not spending our discretionary money much at all, but I would be glad to, if I could get my discretionary money, I would be glad to spend my discretionary money on that if we could go on and get it. One reason,
How much?
Councilwoman 7,000.
But wouldn't that be considered capital equipment? Could we
Well,
use
I
oil
think
lease?
it probably would if we could do oil lease.
I think
I would
we
be
do
glad
oil
to
lease.
do oil lease on it. But Councilwoman Jackson called me just this week about, and I have been meaning to call Councilwoman Thomas because she is such a hard worker on things like this, and plus she's over at cemetery, she's all over stuff like this. And she's real good with working people and all that. But I think she could be really good with this. The getting help with the community service, we really need to be taking advantage of people that need community service hours through the court system, and also setting it up. There are people who come up through city court that need to be doing community service. And we could be using them in the cemetery. We used to use community service people in the cemetery. I know John Coon loved them. The cemetery people loved them. We used them in several places. We could use them to do cleanup, but we could use them to do this special recycling. And I've preached this and preached this, but when people have their leaves and their sticks bagged, and they can take it out of the bags, or we could even begin providing with biodegradable bags and just let them throw bag and everything in there. That would save so much. And it provide compost for people that would be good, help me recyclable stuff, but also what it would save on the landfill. And we already know we're out of landfill sale space. And how much did we just have to spend on the landfill sale that we didn't have to spend on it? So we've got to do something. I think $7,000 that I'll be glad to, if I could just use discretionary oil lease to come up with that chipper. We've got the space for it. We've got, I had talked with Larry Friday before he retired, and Moselle. We had talked about going where the Joy Baptist Church is. We've got the land behind there. But anyway, I really would like to explore that and get on that. We can go on and start that and then build recycling from there.
Right, let's go ahead and put bring that amount. We just go do all these, form for Tuesday night.
All right.
And move forward.
All right, we'll do it, and I'll call Ricky Shelby and do I need a PO from him, or what do we need?
Yeah, for the treasurer.
For the
All right.
treasurer.
Can you find out how many hours it's got on it, and how long he's replaced the blades?
10 hours.
Well, sure.
About 5.2 hours.
I'm just gonna push that kid forward right now.
It's not much.
How
many
It's
hours
a simple question. Just so we know, if you have to allocate additional dollars to get new blades
I got
to make it
you.
more efficient to
Yeah,
use. Have you ever used one of those things before? A chipper like that?
Well, a little one. In fact, that's what I've asked Billy for my birthday.
I spent the whole summer with a very large one out by my uncle's business, and if it doesn't have sharp blades, it will beat you to death.
Wow, how romantic.
And very dangerous. You leave it watch out.
Yeah.
I know.
Moving right along.
All right, Councilwoman Thomas.
President Boyd, I would like to, since a lot of our city workers been laid off, we have some men that have been retired. They retired, some of them started retiring this week. Also, I would like to show this leader ownership of the council to these gentlemen that have put in for their retirement from public work. I think we should honor them for their years of service as working for the city of Selma, because we do have some that
How
can't.
many?
Well, I mean, two, it might be more than two. It might be approximately maybe about 5 or 6. But I met with 2 of them day before yesterday. They put in their retirement because they said they have the years and the time is running out, and it seems like that they are not going to be able, we're not bringing them back to work,
Oh, they're already laid off?
Yeah,
That's what
they
you're
already-
saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. They already laid off, and these guys been working for, these are hard-working guys, been working for many years for the city of Selma. And, as a council person, you know, everybody know how I'm about working people. So I think that this panel, we as leaders should show these people that have retired. We should give them, I have some certificate to be done for them, to give to them, showing their dedicated years of service. for
How
us.
about good lunch? Just-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would like to give them something from us, from the council.
Like that.
A little luncheon along with the certificate.
Yeah, they-
A lot of times, they'll.
They didn't want to,
They
but
hard work.
they,
A lot of times they go unnoticed,
but that's why I say I want to recognize them.
Do you know the range, Councilwoman, like 20 years to 30, 10 to 20?
Well, most of them, they're retired.
Oh,
They'll put 20, they don't put over.
So
Yeah.
every last one of them that you have a certificate for is in retirement?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to do it, I would like to give it from us, because I don't know how about nobody else, but when it comes to the worker, these guys been laid off all this time. They have been dedicated to this city as public workers. You know, they're not getting enough, so we can't show leadership.
well, how about
They were laid off, you said.
maybe use one of the facilities, maybe have a lunch or something?
I think they're performing arts.
Performing arts, yeah, some small intimate, yeah.
Reserve seat?
I talk about that too, it's in there.
Oh, on your agenda?
Yeah, on my agenda.
That's a question.
I wanted to, I think that's a great suggestion, Councilwoman, but I wanted to, piggyback on what Councilwoman Youngblood stated and say that we're not utilizing the service, that we could. I remember when I was inside the police department, working, that we had, Mr. Bean, that he would make sure all day long that the building was clean, and he had his crew that was working off community service hours, and, he was over there and making sure all the police cars were cleaned, and that was part of their hours. And I also contacted our, former mayor Evans, because our program used to send all of our, clients over that needed community service hours, and they would designate where they would go. They would send them to the, cemetery department, they would send them to the, animal shelter, they would send them to different places where they could, get their community service hours in, and they would utilize them 4 to 6 hours a day, depending on when they needed them, and, you know, with needing the extra help, that would go along with it. So I would definitely like for us to look into that, and Mayor Evans, to, remember the process, remember how we would send them directly to his office, but, you know, how that would work now, but that's a start.
I was gonna ask, do we have air conditioning in the building any longer?
Yeah.
Hey, I just signaled to, Madam Recreation Director back there to turn on the air, she said it doesn't work.
Oh,
She just tried it.
we didn't spend $19,000 on a new thermostat for this location?
They just fixed
She
it.
just tried it.
Oh, no, it was $3,500. My apologies, not 19. That was a bike rack.
Can I,
Huh? Oh, yeah, turn them downstairs.
they operate
I
down
said
there.
this area is not working for whatever reason.
Yeah, because this operates on its own. Yeah.
You think we got selective operation?
Yeah, this one operates on its own.
There's more.
What, I want to say what Maya and, Councilman Youngblood said. You know, since I've been here, you know, I talked to the magistrate about that. Y'all know how it was out cleaning up. And I asked the magistrate, she said that if we meet with the judge, and, cause you know, right now, people working off fines, what are they doing? You know, right now, you got a lot of people up there at the court. Yeah, she said if we talk to, yes, about it.
Mayor Evans mentioned to me, and I think that would be great, and I actually mentioned your name to Judge Armstrong. I said, Councilwoman Thomas, but Mayor Evans remembered that Council or Judge Pettaway told him once that one guy said he'd rather go to jail than come back and clean up, and so we laughed about that. So, I mean, it actually And he said, you're gonna go to jail if you don't. Go and get your community service. So, and so that's something that can be utilized because we have people coming through the court system all the time that, you know, maybe if they help, if it's just to wash your car or to, you know, sweep a floor. Everybody-
Community service change people.
Right, and it gives them, a meaningful.
Accomplishment.
Yeah, it can
Okay.
be meaningful. Don't forget the animal shelter.
Right, don't forget that animal shelter too.
Also, too, with that larger tax, what I mentioned, we're currently receiving on an average about $10,000 to $11,000 a month. We just give out that for capital equipment, capital improvement. I have to spell it out. You're supposed to be on the ordinance, spelling everything out, what's consistent, capital equipment and capital improvement. So hopefully, if we don't have it too tonight, we'll have it by the next week.
Read them.
All right, Councilwoman Thomas, City Building.
The reason why, back here, I think it was 2018, when we voted on it in the minutes about the author of the buildings and the keys. Councilman Benjamin put it on the floor back here. We did, I think we voted on two different, we voted on two different types of ordinance to go. But this ordinance, I would like, I want to do this ordinance because I feel that this panel, we've been dragging and keep talking and keep talking and keep asking, and we're not getting anywhere with this city buildings being operated. First, number one, these building operators they had the keys in the first beginning, keeping the doors open. Their keys were taken. You have one organization that has kept the grounds up, kept the building up. They put a lot of money, and the keys were taken. And we just passed a vote on to get the buildings back into op. Well, people can start coming in. We can start seeing some money come in. And it bothered me when we keep asking and it's like you're playing a cat and mouse game. And I don't like playing cat and mouse game because sometimes the rat gets caught. We just did a contract for the Smitterman building so it can be a way to get to be operated. Tourists come in town every day. These are city buildings that are closed. We losing money at what we have the shirts sitting in there? How many months that building been closed?
Welcome, City.
The Welcome Center. Or where people come off the bridge and they go in. You know how tourists like to go in and buy shirts or buy things. Well, that building been closed for quite some time because we had the person that operated laid off. Also, we have people still trying to connect with our department here about trying to lease a building, and something wrong somewhere. And if the council have authority with this building, it's bad that we have to go to this ground here to do an ordinance and put it in place for people to work together. So this is why I wanted to ask Mr. Woody to do an ordinance to request that these people that will operate these buildings to get the keys back. Because every time, somebody want to come or somebody coming in town, you got to call Miss Davis to come over and open up the building. And I think that we need to do that.
I think follow up on part of that vote, I think Councilwoman Benjamin made a reference, they said someone from up here, the council person, should have a key. And
I had That's when we had Ms. Sykes. I had recommended that she has it in a box. But now we don't have her. There's a gentleman in the audience that has her.
Yeah, that sharp lady.
And, so I probably would go back and ask that we designate somebody from the
Yeah, we
family
need-
president.
I don't want to be designated.
I
can't
don't
find
know, but why can't, the question was this, these people that were operating these buildings in the first beginning, why can't, they're the ones that was keeping the building up and keeping the grounds up. Why can't they have their own lineman? Because if he didn't keep the Smithman building, it'd be looking like the cemetery.
Right, it sure would.
And I'm saying, they been had the keys way before I became elected official. And they don't want to open up on the daily day if there's tourists coming in and want to see, why can't they have the key back?
Would that be part of the ordinance?
Yes, that's a part of the ordinance that I recommend, because if the city not spending the money, and this group is willing to keep the place looking good and keep it up, why not? They had it before.
Okay, so when I asked for this, I wasn't asking for private citizens. When I put it on the floor for a vote, I wasn't asking for private citizens, for us to turn the keys over to private citizens. I was asking that we put it in the hands of somewhere up here in the city government, because if we're gonna put it in the hands of private citizens, who knows who's gonna be willy-nilly. And I also didn't ask for it just for the Smithman building, I asked for it for all the buildings except for, public safety.
Well, the reason why I said what I said about those buildings, because for the 3 years there, I've been, my 30 years since I've been, I go out and I watch and I observe. And I see things that other people, the city is they're not spending the money. Those people they had the key in the first beginning. And my thing is this here, when something comes in that, like somebody want to use to study, they used to get married there. People used to use that to get married. Look at the months that we have not taken in anything.
Too many?
And that's what I'm talking about. Look at, if we said the city is about moving forward and doing things, as I think we need to do better with it.
Councilwoman Benjamin, Councilwoman
The good part about changing over our committees is that one person doesn't have it and then get laxed in that particular committee, and then you change over, the next person picks up, and then you see something different. So what you're seeing different is a procedure that was not supposed to happen, and what you have uncovered is something that was not supposed to happen concerning the keys. So I'm glad you did, and now we get the opportunity to discuss it, so I'm glad you did.
Councilwoman Judge.
Well, they've had the keys for years. It wasn't just our administration, definitely wasn't during just your tenure as committee members. And in addition, they've spent over $30,000 in this building. The structure where the brick was falling apart and the structure was being eroded, they went in and put in the money. The city did not pay for it. When I saw them working on it, I thought, oh, the city's taking care of our business, but the city wasn't. We weren't taking care of our business, nor were we taking care of our building. And if you look at what they have put in, I did not know that actually before November, they had laid off the people at Sturgeon Hall or removed them from that actual facility. So they were paying someone to come in and open that building. And they continued to pay for someone to come in and open that building until the mayor took the keys from them. They're continuing to pay for the landscaping. If you look at that building, it doesn't look like any of our other buildings, nor does it look like any of our right-of-ways. That's overgrown and dilapidated. They've taken care of it. And they've also donated $10,000 to this building to ensure that the air conditioning is working properly. We have a lot of things in there that are historic in nature. We have a lot of documentation, and the condensation from the heat, humidity that's going on in that building, with this 90-degree weather that's only going to get worse if we don't do something with it. We're losing revenue by saying only our city workers can come in and have peace. Do we need to partner, have a public-private partnership and say, we want to partner with this group that's already taking care of this? Yes, I think it would be a great thing to have a public-private partnership, to have them to assist us in utilizing, and not for them to collect money on the city's behalf, that they look like that they spend more money than we've ever collected for them. They've ever collected for us, but to give them an opportunity to partner with us, since we don't have the employees necessary to man the building, to have it open for citizens to come through, and actually have it there for weddings and events that we're losing money on. So I think maybe that's something that we should be considered. You're on that committee, Councilwoman Benjamin, so maybe the next building committee meeting, where we can have a full-fledged discussion about it. But I think it's something that the chair has stated that should go, and then we just have to talk about it a little bit further. But as the council representative in that area, I think if we don't utilize them, if they walk away, this building falls and crumbles. And it's too valuable to our community, because we have not put in the funding necessary to keep it where it needs to be and to restore everything that it should be, but they're committed to it, and so that should be considered.
Councilwoman Bennett.
We would hope that they would not walk away, because they have already proclaimed that they love this place beyond us, because as you have stated, Councilwoman, they've been taking care of it long before once you bring something like this before the panel, is now before the ears of everyone, and you have to do what is proper, appropriate, and correct. And so we can't, first of all, let me go backwards. I love these people and what they're doing for the building. Absolutely love it. They're doing some things that we have not done or been able to do because of the lack of funding that has been told to us. I like that. But we cannot give keys to buildings just because people give to buildings. You can't do that, because y'all brought it before the panel, so now it's before the panel. So how did it go?
Can I have a question?
Hold on.
How did the mayor ask me, I give it to him?
Y'all, this is not what previous people have done. When we discuss stuff like this and you discover it and you bring it before the panel, then if it calls for correction, then it just calls for correction. Doesn't matter who did it. Smithman could have done it. Evans could have done it. Purvis could have done it. But once it comes before the panel and you brought it here for discussion, it is now our knowledge. You have now fed it to us. So if I'm giving to the convention center, I can't have a key to the convention center, because I can run a business out of the convention center then, because I have a key. None of us will know whether this is a city function, if we walk up to them to know it's a city function or not that particular night, unless we have the calendar and the schedule and say this is a city function tonight. I could open up the building and have a wedding and charge $500. And y'all know I'm being kind of funny, but not funny. But what I'm saying is this, we can't give out keys like that. And Councilman LaShore said the key word, he didn't raise his hands to finish his statement, but he said liability. It's a liability. And now it's before the panel.
May I ask one question?
I'll let Gloria go ahead and ask a follow-up question.
What are we doing with because I was told that we're doing the same thing with the Old Depot. That may be incorrect, because I haven't researched it or verified it.
I was
But
gonna speak to
Now it's up for discussion.
I was going to say, that's the city building. They have their own functions, they have their own fundraising. What's the difference? Yes, sir, tell me the difference.
Well, I mean, the contracts
I
reads,
need their keys too. Thank you for bringing it up.
the old depot continues to operate independently. Basically, it's a city building, but the city hasn't done much other than pay for insurance and a couple other things for the old depot in the past few years, because everything they put on there has been denied by Terry Davis and the buildings department, even though it's been included in the budget. So, the grass needs to be cut out at the old depot, we get the grass cut. The building needs to be painted, Beth's gonna paint the building. The roof needs to be fixed, she's gonna fix the roof. We need a security system, we figure out some way to raise some money to get the security system in. I was also gonna add that we had sent a letter to Henry Thompson requesting an opportunity for the Welcome Center to be relocated temporarily into the to Old Depot. There's plenty of room in the foyer based on the model to allow that to happen, so we can continue to provide that service. The mayor had said it was up to Mr. Thompson to move that forward, so obviously we're just waiting to hear from the council on it. But the old depot does most everything itself, because it does have a board that sustains it. We do our own fundraisers. Sturban Hall has an endowment, they can do the same thing. And I would strongly suggest that the Friends of Smithers Building look at doing something very similar. And that way they can kind of at least man it and do, because we have a person that we pay to be there.
Yes, so the Sturban Hall is another city-owned building.
City county, it's
City
owned.
county building that is operated.
Councilwoman,
May I say something? This body should know that, it's not up to Henry. It's not up to Henry Thomas to make that decision.
No.
And the reason why I want to say this, because I don't go to training just to be going to training. I be going to learn the right, to do the right things and to do what's need to be done. Like if Corey signs us, each one of us got a committee. Corey signs us to these committees. And it's not the mayor. We respect him on a day-to-day base operation, but the mayor does not control the committee. If you got a public safety, if you got a public work, if you got a public building, I'm just being honest to you.
Well, this has nothing to do with me as a council person. This is the board asking for that. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
well, that's why I was saying,
Right,
you know.
not me as a council person, the Old Depot board requesting it so Henry can facilitate the economic engine that has to go in place, is what I was getting.
Okay, and
That's what I
another,
mean, Henry.
and then another thing that was, I see that is kind of, if we do things according to the way it's supposed to be done and the city to be operated, we'll be looking just like any other city. That
Let's
we,
do it. Let's do it.
yes, and that's what I'm saying. If we do what we've been doing in the past, honestly, things have been done in the past that are not according to, we've been having ordinance in place, we vote on things, but then what happened? We never stick to it. So I say, to make our city good and to make us be good leaders, why not start doing what we should do?
okay. My suggestion would be if, Mr. Jones gonna bring the ordinance on Tuesday night, it's gonna go on first reading anyway. And then between that time period that you have a meeting with the, public building meeting, then you just hash out all the logistical things that you need to hash out during that time. Councilman.
I do remember that conversation, Carl, that the proposition of the Welcome Center be housed at the Old Depot, and the mayor did say he had no problem with it, get Mr. Thompson to coordinate it. I would highly recommend that you get with Henry to find out where we stand in making that move.
Correct.
Because the summer's upon us, people are gonna start coming to Selma. Let's take advantage of the tourists. So let's make that happen. I think it's been clear from the executive branch, the mayor said he had no problem. Let's make it happen.
That's why I was mentioning it, because, again, it allows the Old Depot to capitalize on the foot traffic to continue to fund itself independently of the city, which obviously as a board we've discussed several times, finding ways to be independent of the city.
Councilwoman Thomas, then we'll go to the
That
next.
board you're on, the board you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
Do the board, I have a question. That board relate to some of the things that, the council should be aware of, discussing, like you said about the old depots? You know,
It's the
Do
contract.
they report is what?
yeah, that's what I'm
The
saying. Do the,
contract with the city and the Old Depot is unique to that relationship. So the board has purview over day-to-day operations of the museum as far as what changes take place, what artifacts are utilized, allocating money out of the money that they have independently of the city's money. This is money raised in a separate account that is raised by and used for the Old Depot Museum through membership and various other items to continue that economic engine to fund that operation.
can I ask you something? You have been a part of that, because you know a lot about it.
Well,
And you don't understand where I'm coming from.
Right.
You're telling us something. You know a lot about it. That's when I asked you, have you been involved or you have a communication with someone about that? Because the reason why I say that, because you're telling
me as a council person, more about the old depot, that you have a board, you got a board member.
Right.
That we don't even know, Jack, who's on the board,
Right.
who's a part of the board.
You don't,
Oh, you on the board too?
Yeah.
So you know,
So it helps your statement, we don't know who's on the board.
so that's what I'm saying. We don't know, you on the board too?
I am. I'm
Oh,
actually,
you talking about-
president-elect.
Oh, okay, I understand now. I got
You
you.
need the rest of the board list.
Okay,
We'll definitely get that to them.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, look,
it's a good
because
example.
the reason why I say that, because you're speaking very strong about it, and you're pushing for it,
Right.
and, you know, I'm very,
Well,
I want to.
we need to meet the needs of those coming to town looking for the welcome
You're
center.
right.
We have an obligation for the money spent, taxpayer dollars, to fill the welcome center full of objects that are not being sold now. They're
Yeah,
actually
you're
being
right.
faded by the inordinate amount of sun that hits that building once it gets past, and you can see by the sign how bad it cooks. So there's items just sitting in there rotting and getting sun bleached that could be moved at least to realize and make that money back for the taxpayer, as well as continue to find funding opportunities for not just the old depot, but Sturman Hall and Von Smithman. And I would strongly suggest that Von Smithman, if possible, could look at a very similar operation the way that the old depot does, if their board could do that based on what their contract is. I have not read Von Smithman's contract, so I don't know all the language in there and what the relationship is, responsibilities of the city to maintain that facility.
well, can we see some of that, because I'm very, you know, I'm very.
You can come to the next meeting.
Okay, I would like to see that.
Come on down. Hang out with us.
Benjamin. Thank you.
The Welcome Center that's on Broad Street, the beaten path, the main path, the place that you should start for a Welcome Center on the beaten path. What's wrong with the building? I thought it was fixed, and maybe I'm just confused.
Nobody to man.
Huh?
There's nobody to
Okay,
operate.
okay, so the structure itself is what I'm asking, so nothing's wrong with the structure. And we were paying those ladies in it?
There was
Part-time.
it was a
As
part-time.
part-time workers?
Yeah, it was part-time.
I think they're also
And-
subsidized
and-
by
and
a grant. where
Madam
they-
Treasurer, and how many
Terry
was it? How
was
many
on.
ladies was it, Madam Treasurer?
It was two ladies.
Two ladies and one man.
Four.
So they were part, you know,
Was Terry was old?
Because I know it's a husband and wife.
Yeah, he worked for the city and she worked in that capacity for the city.
No, he been gone.
Mhm.
but they were part-time, they were our part-time employees.
So basically two people. It was-
Two women and one
Because,
man.
Warren was over there too.
As a full-time.
She's full-time.
And then two part-timers plus a full-time.
Okay, I thought you said the husband was gone.
No, the husband would work for the city and he no longer is with the city.
He's sick.
No, we're talking about.
Well, he didn't count in the
No,
two
no,
women and
they-
one man did not count the husband.
No,
The husband works in the-
he
Oh,
just
okay,
making
okay,
comment.
okay. Oh, just a
It
comment,
was,
okay. I
yeah,
got
a
you,
gentleman by
I
the
got
name of
you.
Terry
Three people.
Sola.
Three.
Three people.
Right,
And then Warren.
Well, when you see us again, let us know what the cost of that was.
okay.
Nothing's wrong with the building.
No.
I mean, when you stop using buildings, they go down.
And they going down.
All right, Councilwoman, let's switch box.
Okay. I did a little investigating. I noticed, I found out how this worked. The state highway puts the new box. I was wondering why the state, Broad and Holland. Broad and Holland has the new boxes. And you know, in the resident area, like, we got wards, they got, lights. Most of the boxes, I did a little riding around. Most of the boxes that are in our wards off the back streets, you know, like you got on facing, if you take a Ella Anderson going back and over on Franklin Street, the state doesn't, they don't put those boxes up. We are responsible. Most of those boxes, I've been doing them, I did a research. Most of those boxes that are in our area, they are 1950 up to 1960 boxes. So I called Henry and I asked Henry to look in at the state. The state swaps out boxes anyway. Some of the boxes that we have now, the reason why the lights are having so many problems with the lights are because of the back street boxes. The state doesn't change them. The city's supposed to change them. And these boxes have not been changed since 1950. From L.L. Allison, Church, Tremont, Franklin. I did the whole route. I know where they at. I count the poses the boxes on. I've been looking. Liddell has been, he just been, you know how you rig something, repair, till it just rigged out, it's gone. So, today I saw Liddell on, I saw Liddell on First Avenue. And we were talking about the box the last time. I saw Liddell on First Avenue. The box, the 1950 box on First Avenue. I don't know what Liddell was trying to do, how he was trying, the box was shot, it's gone. He was, I had talked to y'all about getting the box, but I asked him, could he check with the state to see if we can, if they have any of those boxes, we can use those boxes on our streets. That would make the lights work better if the state had any of those boxes that they have been replaced. So we can use them, the ones that they taking down, you know, like on Broad Street and Harlem, they put the new ones up.
Yes.
And we can use them in our community and on the streets that we have a problem with the lights. So the next meeting, I would like for you to, I request that, can you bring Liddell? Can we have Liddell before the council Tuesday to talk to, let the citizen know why? Because you know, a lot of the citizens been on the radio talking about the lights and talking, but they really need to know why. What's the reason? You can't just get a box like that. They only put them new boxes on State Highway. That's why they all out this way.
Well, what I can do is I can put in a request for the day-to-day operation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can do it.
Because it needs to be told to the citizen themselves why the lights are like that, why we have in our community, the boxes are so old. The city itself never changed the boxes. Those are 1950 and 1960. We might find some older than that, because they are old boxes. Okay?
Okay.
And
I-
one more thing.
I'll do it tomorrow
Before you
to
go.
request.
You're gonna do that?
And also I want to say one more thing.
I was gonna ask you, when you're gonna bring that, when Liddell come, were you gonna bring some quotes? You gonna bring
We have a quote. I had a quote the last time, you know, I told you how much
Just
one
gonna use
box
that one
cost.
quote, okay.
And that was how much one of those boxes would cost. Each one of us, in our ward, we have all these problems with the lights. Each one of them boxes would cost $7,000. So that's why I asked Henry to please ask the state. Because you know, the state took them down right here and put brand new ones up. The state highway changes. They change from
I know.
Dallas to
Broad
here,
Street.
Broad, all the way down. They changed those boxes. So we can ask for those boxes to put them up in our, on our back areas in our wards.
It may be a good idea to get some money from the state department and see what we can do, change it out. But I gotta believe that, I would request them to come here.
Okay.
Tonight.
Another thing I want to say is too, this is part of the state. You know, we have a problem with these potholes in our areas. And on some, Carl, I wanted to tell you, I have this problem. On Dallas, where you turn where Jack's at, you know that's state highway. Well, when I do mine, I'm gonna do yours. I'm going on 80 to the office tomorrow. Yes. They told me, I called them, I talked to Miss Wright, she told me what to do. Right here on the corner of Chestnut Boulevard in Broad, right by Peace Insurance, I thought it was the city fault, but I found out today, it's the state.
And that
It's the
area,
state highway.
that area by Jackson's
Oh yeah, it's the same as this.
it's not deep enough, and every time a car goes over, it flexes the plastic pipe, which cracks the asphalt, which makes it fall.
And it messed your car.
Right.
So,
But if the plastic pipe is fixed, my point, I don't know if that'll solve the problem.
no, the state got to fix that. So tomorrow
Thank
I'm
you very much for
going,
checking
yes.
it out.
Because this is why the city has turned so many claims down with the incident happened right here on the corner of Chestnut. Everybody, I stood there for 30 minutes after I tore up I messed up a rental car, Reinhardt car, yesterday. And I'm stuck with it till I go to see the state. My insurance got to pay for the damage. Yeah, when I came from Montgomery, that's where I just came from. And I'm stuck with it with my insurance. So I talked to the lady, Ms. Wright told me go see the gentleman tomorrow. But there are a lot of people claims that have been denied because of that section right there. So we have to have the state to come back and fix it.
Okay, I would definitely ask for the be there for Tuesday night.
You on it?
Councilman LaShaw, City Engineer.
Yeah, Mr. President, when we came on, and when I looked at our audit, I didn't see any assets noted in the audit. And I found out then that the city did not have an inventory control. And that just blew my mind. We don't know what we got. And of course, we asked Ms. Wade to do some research and find out who could get us set up. And of course she did. She gave each of us a manual back in May the 1st, 2018. It might have been earlier. But this manual was depicting fixed asset inventory service proposal for the city of Selma. A cost associated with that would require $25,000, and we put that in our budget. We all agreed that the city of Selma needs to know what its assets is. And Ms. Wade did inform me that the money is here, and should she move forward with Ms. Wade, you be the chairman and the time of giving any erroneous information, with the company that will be available to set us up to identify our inventory and have an annual assessment of our inventory as we go along when we're no longer here. At least we'll be able to buy something and we will know from year to year whether it's still there. And with an annual inventory assessment, you would know what's missing and what's not.
Yeah.
Like any business.
Absolutely. And as I said earlier, we don't know what we got. We just buy stuff and just buy it and don't know what we got.
That's right.
I have it.
You're right.
And it's not doing good business.
That's right.
So what I decided to do is to bring this issue back to the council because of the fragile financial aspect that we're experiencing, rather than me inform Ms. Wade to go ahead because the council has already voted to do it. I thought it would be wise to revisit this subject to ascertain collectively should we move forward with this property.
I'd like to ride around as a little field trip and see all these lots and actually see what's in them myself. I mean, because there's just piles of equipment sitting in corners, and you got grass growing up on top of each other. I mean, hell, they're still bright red. It looks like they're brand new, but they're in a pile. So it'd be nice to know how much we need to surplus, to your point, before we get an inventory person, because a lot of that stuff looks like it's just garbage.
Well, that person would be able to identify what we need to surplus when they doing this section. So I don't think, we don't need to do that. We'll be weighing ourselves out. We don't have the.
I'm just thinking about getting cost savings there anywhere.
I don't think.
And why we don't have a consolidated lot for all this stuff to keep it.
I think this
Safe,
would be
to be
included in
honest.
the assessment. Am I correct this way?
Yes,
So-
the cost is approximately $25,000, and once they do the complete assessment, there's a small fee, annual fee, if we want them to maintain it, or we can continue to maintain our own, adding and subtracting to it. And I think you've already hit on it, Councilman Johnson, and you already know this, but we talk about selling assets on inventory, and we don't know what we really have on hand. And it helps also in the shrinkage process, because sometimes equipment and items belong to us, they disappear, and we didn't keep track that we had it, so we don't know that they were gone.
That's true.
Absolutely. That's the purpose of this inventory control. And it would be, I don't think there's another city in Alabama that has inventory control.
We're the first ones on
No
that.
state agent either.
Everybody.
I just can't conceive of it. And it's just weighing heavy on me that we don't have this. But at the same time, it pleases me that the council acknowledges the fact that we need to get it done, and we have appropriated money to get it done. So once again, Mr. President, the question is, should we go forward with it? Okay. We'll put it up for a vote Tuesday night.
Okay, put it on consent agenda.
That'd be good.
All right. Councilwoman Jackson.
I wanted to ask, with the assessment services, I see that the proposal, is there any way that they could come and speak to us about all their services? And I wanted to know if this was ongoing, was this a one-time fee of $25,000? Is it ongoing, or it's just to put us in order and then we're supposed to take over it? Because I'm just saying, like at the county, they do their own inventory control.
I would hope the option will be determined. I mean, I can tell you.
I want it.
I can tell you which way I would rather go. I'd rather pay the professionals an additional cost annually to get it done rather than have a person on payroll for 12 months, paying them a whole goblet of money. And then, I mean, let's.
Because you have to have a baseline.
You need to know where
Right,
everything is.
what I guess what I'm saying is, the $25,000, is that going to be ongoing? I hear you saying, I don't mind paying someone $25,000 a year, but someone has to be, or what the way it's utilized in our area. The moment someone purchased something, first of all, everyone doesn't get to purchase. There's one purchasing agent. And so they purchase for all departments. The second, because that's gonna be one of the issues, and Ms. Wade has brought that up. This department got 100 pens sitting over here, and then we got another department just ordered 10 boxes, and they got 100 over here. No one knows what they had. It should be some type of inventory control, so if you're looking for pens and highlighters, everybody don't just get to order pens and highlighters. Oh, right, or, you know, I'm just using a small item, but I'm all for that. I think that we need it. However, because from what I've been able to understand, you know, we've had computers to walk away. No one, I got my phone still in my purse. No one ever asked me for the phone back. I mean, if it's not working in this city property, they're supposed to give it back, but I wasn't gonna return it, so no one could say, they could say 2 years from now that it got lost. So I still have it in my purse even though it doesn't work. You know,
somewhere.
Right, and we got laptops, we've been looking for cameras that we can't seem to find. Right, and so that's what I'm saying. Do we have someone on an ongoing basis, or how do they do that? Because generally, whenever something is purchased, it's tagged.
Ms. Wade just indicated that for a minimum fee, they will come in annually and do our inventory.
That's good.
So I think, in my own opinion, that would be the way to go. And I do think, Ms. Wade, it would be nice if this company could come in and
If I may, this company, I think, is based out of Minnesota. He would be glad to get on a conference call, as we had talked when you first inquired about it. And I'm more than willing to try to get him on after I was saying, we can have a discussion. So I'm not sure if they were investing traveling down this far for that. But what I will say is, again, the $25,000 is to get your inventory established in the database. The point of contact for the city should always be the clerk's office, because they maintain a record. Anytime we make a purchase, if it's not, it should always go to the clerk's office. So he would have to have a point of contact anytime we purchase a new equipment. That's our responsibility to let him know what we're purchasing so it can be added to that database. But in terms of keeping up with it, in terms of being able to give the information to the auditors about the depreciation, the useful life of things, and he had a copy of all the buildings, all the infrastructure that we own. And so it's not just laptops, it is about buildings, it's about cars and stuff. When we have a lot of equipment that's broke down, it'll kind of eliminate, just because it's broke down, somebody's scrapping it and assuming that we're not paying attention. We need to be paying attention.
Right.
So even if we surplus it to get our month scrap metal from, to get some revenue from, we need to be doing that. But Councilman Shore, if you would like, if that's your request, I would ask him during another work session or council, just to put him on the phone. I can forward you the information with any questions or concerns that you have for him, Tim. He will give you the answers.
let's do it like this, if it pleases the council. because I want everybody to be satisfied with whatever concern that they may have. So at the next work session, let's have a telephone conference with this company, and this way, can you get that set up for us?
Yeah.
And just let them know that we are interested, but then we want to make sure that we're covering we're dotting all of our I's, we're crossing all of our T's, and that there's some questions that you and I cannot answer that is on the minds of our colleagues.
And also, if y'all could provide me with a list, because we have been at this for a year, if you could provide me with the list, I can forward him that list and he can come back and give you a response as well. So that may eliminate some of it than prolonging it any further if you like.
I personally don't have many questions because I am accustomed to everything. And I understand the value of it. But I do understand that there's some who don't. And whatever question that they may have, if you could, that's Ms. Wade said, formulate those questions to her, and she get it to him, and she can get a response. And maybe a conference call would be also included. Is that okay with y'all?
Yeah, if I may, Ms. Wade, I do have some questions. I'm accustomed to inventory. I'm actually accustomed to working properly and correctly. What my question is, we have one person in the clerk's office. Have you seen it lately? I mean, if we hire or give her anything else to do, everything starts with her office. She's lost the person that's in there. I'm not.
We're not purchasing equipment every day.
Right.
We're just not.
Right.
So if somebody comes going before the vote of council, when we make that purchase,
That's how you
the
keep
contract,
it.
it comes to her office.
Right.
So all it is a matter of maybe forwarding an email. I'm not sure how that doesn't happen that often. So I don't see the issue of worrying about we need another manpower, because in that way we could be hiring a whole full staff of like 2 people to do it. But this is just simple of it's as if we approve it, y'all approve, we sign, we get the equipment. When we get the contract or the bill of sale, submit it over to the company.
Right, but what I'm saying is, this is greater than just the inventory control, because everything starts with her, and she is in that office by herself, and there are a lot of things that is required out of her in that office. So, and also, I'm hoping that everything that we purchase would not only be put in the computer, but would be tagged as city property. And so there was.
That's why they're coming.
Right,
That's why they're coming.
Right, there will be someone after they come for the once a year that need to tag everything that we purchase all year long. So it probably would be that clerk again. And so,
That's how it usually.
I can assure you it'll be money well spent.
I don't doubt it.
I can assure you.
We all think it's money well spent.
And I can assure you it will give us a nudge on our annual audit.
And I think Councilman Jackson, point well taken, but if you're having department heads that's making requests for purchases and it comes out of there, in terms of the tagging process, that should be the responsibility of us getting coordinating with the clerk. So in terms of the tagging process of putting a sticker on someone, that should be us doing that. And I'm assuming that she won't be just one person forever. I'm hoping that we can something change.
I want to try to address.
So
Yes, help us out, help us out.
Yeah, help us out.
And please, y'all pull your manual out. If you don't have a copy, I'll make you a copy. This is something that's going to really help us, y'all. I went through this, I like it, I know the value of it, and I think we just need to get it done. And I was pleased for Ms. Wade to tell me that we got the money and we put it in our budget, so let's move forward with it. And like I told you before, rather than me saying, okay, go ahead, because the council already approved it, let's revisit it and make sure this is what the council wants. And based on what I'm hearing tonight, this is what the council wants.
We'll put it on September agenda and move forward.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Councilman Bowles.
I got nothing, just trying to keep the sweat off my eyes.
So the councilwoman then.
My hair out of the way.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm gonna try to make it.
I was more short, so I don't do this.
I'm gonna try to make it through my items as quickly as it's almost unbearable in here. And I'm gonna I'll probably skip a couple of my items, and I'll just have to be out of order Tuesday. Hopefully the air will be fixed. So my first item is item number 7. My eyes are blurred too. Item number 7, fraud inquiry. Mr. President, so the auditors, sent a reminder, and I'm assuming they sent a reminder to everyone concerning, an email that they sent to us in February.
6th.
And, to remind us to fill out a form, that has not been procedure here, and perhaps it's procedure with this new, team, to remind us to fill that out. And of course, I have, CC'd you, on my responses to the auditor. I've also requested formally through you, that Attorney, Siegel be here. I think I requested it today, but he said that he was available Tuesday. And I also invited the auditor to come as well. And I also told him in the email that it struck me as another stab at this whole treasurer debacle. And he did come back and apologize for making it seem that way, and he did not mean to make it seem that way. And I told him, well, that's what it struck me as, and I will not be a part of it.
I'm sorry, you lost me.
Well, it was about the survey, and when I answered back, I replied back to him concerning the survey that, I'll get with our brand new attorney and be advised, because the old attorney said, no, forward it on to Council President Bowie, which was Attorney Nunn. And then I thought about, we have Siegel on board, and then I told him all about that, and then he wrote me something else that I shared with the president, and it was, to me, a stab at this whole thing that's been going on with the treasurer. And I told him that, and I said, and so in that regard, I will invite the attorney and you can come to our next meeting. I was saying Thursday, but Mr. Siegel is available only on Tuesday. So, yeah, he said he didn't mean to make it seem that way.
I thought they said that Andrew.
I thought we got it.
Oh, you mean the new, okay, you mean the
new company.
The new company. Well, last year, Mr. President had it, because at Attorney Nunn's advice, it was, officially, it came to Councilwoman Thomas, that he said, don't bother with that, send it on to the president.
I didn't answer, man.
I didn't either.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't either, Councilman.
But our president
I did
took
not
it.
either.
I thought it was kind of like.
But he took care of us.
Disregard. And so,
But people
he
have
sent
to-
us all a reminder the other day. I'm assuming everyone got one.
Yeah, but-
I guess you ain't last.
But President Bush took care of us last year.
Benjamin.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
The ones
So
that
I'm
I've
not a
got.
crazy lady. Okay.
No.
All right, thank you.
My legal counsel advised me not to fill it out because we could not in good conscience be able to vouch for anything that's been going
I
on. since we
can't.
got
There's no way
There's nothing.
I cannot.
My legal counsel advised me to, not fill out the form and make a statement of all the things that have, caused me concern that I haven't been able to address, and I haven't been able to answer, like paying people that are not in the budget, like, signing contracts and going into contracts without bringing them before the council. All those things that I've been bringing, like the excessive amount that we spent on the digital, thermostats that's currently not in here. All those things, and then to allow them to say, I'm not sure if this is fraud because I don't have access to the information, but you have access to all of it. And so as the professional and our auditor, please decide whether you think this is fraud or not.
Well, I sort of told him some of that, and my legal counsel, who is also my uncle in Chicago, he quickly sent me a text message back and said, do not send.
And
I was
said,
gonna tell Councilman, we pay you, you determine that.
You determine that, thank you.
There you
So they only look at
For
it.
$200,000.
But we haven't paid them 200,000 yet.
200 plus.
Well,
It's going that far because
I'm
it's
sure.
4:30.
Yeah, they're still working.
they still working for
Because
us.
at
We haven't
4:30,
started
it
yet.
wasn't, I think it
They
was just.
still on the clock.
All right, Councilwoman Benson, go ahead.
Oh, also, number 8, okay, that's a date, Mr. President, when you allow us to do announcements, I'll get a date. And then, grass cutting. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. So did you hear from the attorney general? I was gonna ask that.
Councilwoman Thomas, you can help me with that.
Listen, we just,
Oh.
the attorney just got the paper today. I was in there when the man came down and asked for, the paper that we supposed to be did for the resolution. He
Signed
just,
2 weeks ago.
and he just got it today.
Okay, so that was my question.
He just got it
So
today.
we'll wait some
Wait
more.
for 60 or 90 days to get
And but the grass gonna be, but we gotta cut that
We
grass
gotta
off.
find a.
Well, I found some solutions in there.
Okay.
But
So, if we could, Mr.
The grass gotta be cut.
Mr. President, I would like to go on the recommendation of the league in Ward 4, and this is Ward 4, you all don't have to do as I do. I would like to go on the recommendation of the league in Ward 4 and go ahead and contract some grants.
Cause it's a public safety issue.
Yeah, it's a public safety, but they just want us to sign. See, what they said, the league was supposed to be, but Corey is the president. Him would do stuff different than what the league asked us. The league said if we got the resolution, they said do the resolution, then do a list as Ms. Youngblood had said before. Each council signed their name and ward.
And so I would like to go on that.
We gotta have
So I'm
grass
going to submit, Madam Treasurer, to your office, so that you all can check my balance. It's a healthy balance. And I'm going to get some quotes. I don't have to, but I am. I'm going to get them and I'm gonna take the best one for Ward 4 because it's now atrocious. And I will send it to you.
It's bad, y'all, we gotta cut that grass.
Councilwoman Jackson.
Councilwoman, I talked with our treasurer, we may be able to find something in the budget for this. I would
Okay.
ask you, please don't do that, because
Okay.
I was about to move forward, with the same league, saying, oh, yeah, it might be, I had a tree in Ward 4 on Young Street to actually fall and damage someone's house and fall all the way on it, and another one was dead. It
I
was
almost
still
hit,
dead.
I almost
And
hit the limbs. Okay.
Right.
Coming from my sister's house.
And guess what they told me? That's not public safety hazard. Now, a tree falling on the home, so and so grass versus a tree falling on the home
Now-
that I'd already torn down, street,
But
wires.
it's different.
Your limbs are in the street, Councilwoman, because last night.
I know, I
was a
just saw Public Works
A
today.
massive amount of traffic coming through from graduation. And had I not been looking and just talking to my graduating son, I would have, these trees in your ward, they're in the street.
That's what I'm talking about.
And the cars, all the cars behind me would have had a domino effect because they were all coming from graduation. And because I was moving slowly, basking in the moment, I saw it ahead of time. These are like tree limbs, not like wood chippings.
Right.
What if the Attorney General come back and say that you can't do that?
He probably gonna find me and put me in jail and now
That's what
y'all
I'm
gonna have
saying. I
fines.
talked to the treasurer, so we may have found some money, so
But-
if you let me get my report, you may
I'm
not
gonna
go
wait,
to jail.
I'm gonna wait.
Councilwoman Thomas.
But President Bowie and I, with Rob emailed, he told us, he said that the situation about us not having, we don't have city workers. That is a public, that is, and that's why I was telling you guys, that's what he said. But he said, he told us that that is a issue of public safety. Because we don't have people to cut the grass and do things.
Okay.
But he told us
Put
to
that in the
cut.
resolution.
And, yeah,
Yep.
he did.
Mr. President, could I ask that we all wait?
Yeah, that's what I was
Even though it should have been back long before now, because
Yeah.
we do want to be legal, and we do want to be consistent with what we do. Because it's gonna look mighty bad if my colleagues start cutting grass in Ward 4, and I still got John.
I'ma
over
cut
there
it, I'ma
sick.
cut it.
And then, I mean, people gonna say, well, how come you can't do it? Let's wait until we get some legal status so that we all can move forward.
Okay, I will definitely say, let's do that.
And the AGs might have jazz on the grass on our behind.
Great.
As long as y'all got 5 on it to get me out, oh, y'all got 5?
Yeah. we got it.
Okay,
All
all
right,
right, no, kidding, I'm kidding and I'm waiting. I'm waiting, Councilwoman, you gonna, whoever that was, you and the treasurer, y'all gonna get on it quickly and by Tuesday?
I'm bringing it up tonight.
Oh, tonight, okay. On the grass cutting or something else? Okay, I'm getting ready to go to City Parks.
Okay, you want me to bring it up?
Okay, she do that.
Go ahead.
So I was bringing it up under my Public Works Code Enforcement. So
Okay, I can wait, okay, I see what you're saying now, okay, all right. So, moving quickly to, Cedar Park Elementary School, I have a team, that we're working on, the business of Cedar Park, like I told you all a while ago. And I may need your help, of course. Some of you have already pledged your help. Thank you very much. A team so that we can put the business incubator in there. But one of the school board members recommended that I look at what Thomasville did to theirs. They also had a conference center, and that conference center was used to pay for the overhead and the person that would man the particular building. And so I asked Councilman Randolph, since FedEx sends him to Thomasville, to get the business plan from the mayor. And he's gonna get me that business plan, the layout from that mayor and some pictures of the building. So what they're doing is something similar. And but the conference area is what they rent out to pay for all the overhead and the employee. So, so I do have a team on that. I do want you all to know that I still want to do that, and I still might need your help. I don't know what the cost overall would be, so I still want you all to be thinking about that with me, if you don't mind.
Have we received our official letter to revert or saying they're no longer utilizing school? I guess
Well, school ended at 12 noon on yesterday, so I guess Attorney Campbell will be working on their side to get the paperwork together and telling us their intentions. And which is why I'm not even introducing my committee until we get that.
I thought you had told me that they was trying to sell it.
Oh, they were. And they found out they couldn't. They found out, no. Yeah.
Tell them I'm trying to sell it.
Oh, yeah, no, not now. Not now. They were.
Okay, Councilman.
Okay, and, so the Education Training Institute, this is coming from my committee, so I won't have to make a long committee report tomorrow. It's not gonna be long. I'm gonna bring you the dates for the Education Training Institute. The next one is in November 20th through 23rd. I've been asked by more than one council member to get this information. So what I'm gonna do tomorrow is come up and print it out and give everybody a copy so you can look at it, because you can save money if you do something in this fiscal year versus the next fiscal year, because the early bird with these training institute catches the worm. I asked Madam Treasurer to look into that for us. You let us know. The NLC membership.
NLC.
The membership. Okay. So just let us know Tuesday if they've been doing that down there. And then financial monitoring belongs to Councilwoman Jackson.
All right, I'm going to try to go through these fast, but, so our treasurer gave us the budget performance report and went over many of them, all but 430. And so I utilized this last couple of weeks to go in and look at some things that caught my attention. I want to start, if you will, I've gone over certain things with her, so I don't have as many concerns as I initially written down. But I would like to draw your attention to page 8, I'm sorry. Special projects under
That's the email.
the plan, no, she gave it to us last year.
Oh,
I mean, last
last week.
week.
Okay.
Under planning and development, special project, $65,000 line item.
What page, Councilwoman?
Page 8 of 33, and this is your 430 report now.
Okay.
They've only used approximately $5,000 this year. And with the $60,000 remaining, they've used about 8% of the items budgeted. And since we're already half the year into it, there may be some amendments that we could make to, I was looking at additional funding that we could have. So if you got your calculator on your phone?
Oh, yeah.
I could reduce that by 20,000. Put 20,000 back into our funds, maybe we could use that in another area. I don't know why we're over. We got to put 20,000.
Okay, what's the starting number?
20,000. So there is, 65,000, they utilized $4,998, and so we had 60,001. We're halfway through the year. I'm not sure what projects, but I know, Mr. Councilman Pauline always called this department the squirrel department. I think the squirrel department, because he's always called it the squirrel department, may have been changed to IT now, but, I want to go over that. We're over budget. I don't know why in code enforcement, maybe because they zeroed some things out. They said we didn't have any vehicle maintenance and repairs, in code enforcement, but we've used $800.
We
That's
took
page
on
9.
code enforcement is no longer there. That was the salaries, I think, for, Samantha and.
Natalie,
No, it wasn't that.
I'm talking
So-
about vehicle expense and
That
repairs.
did.
They actually used something last month. Or
How
they
much?
used
She said
4,893.
it don't exist.
Right, that's what I'm telling you, we're over budget in it area.
They spending money that ain't there.
What are they spending it on?
I don't know, that's why I'm bringing it, you see what I'm talking about, Ms. Wade?
Yeah, I was just trying to get some clarity on something.
Okay.
Email.
You talking about the salaries of 7,178 for code enforcement officers?
No, ma'am, I'm talking about it at the bottom of page 9, 5151037, vehicle expenses, repairs and maintenance.
Okay.
We've encumbered.
That was, I wasn't here, so I.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
But those salaries should be moved elsewhere, wherever they were supposed to be merged into. I think they did go to police department, right, the code enforcement?
Well,
Oh, no.
they
We didn't do that.
Yeah, so those are salaries that just need to be, we have to move those out.
But I'm not talking about the salary line item.
No, I'm talking about anything under there because you all.
The department.
The
Okay.
department.
So you
right.
saying the vehicle maintenance?
Right.
That needs to be.
We'll move them into the police department.
Because I want, like, how are we $800 when we don't even
Right.
have it? Okay, let's go to the personnel, department. And that's on page 10. We're over budget here as well, $635.27. They look like they removed everything, but we're still pretty.
Can I make a recommendation to you all? And it may save you all a lot of time. And some of you were here when we took a certain amount, about $5,000, and had a grass cutting line item for each
I wasn't here.
council person to cut grass in there. I would like to recommend that you all do that. You know, then that way you all are free to get your own person and go ahead and get your grass, because like Councilman John Short says, you don't want his not to be subpart of somebody else's. That way you can contract and move forward with your own. And I could, if you want to reduce that budget, I just would recommend reducing it, where we get $5,000
So can we
from
go
other
over
line
that?
items, and I can have a recommendation for you all on Monday and look at where it's underutilized and request that you all move $5,000 into the council line item for grass cuts.
I got you. I got you. I don't doubt that.
Can we
But
go up on this?
Per council person or?
Per council, per ward,
So
yeah.
5,000.
And then, President Bowie also had a line item so he could use for common materials,
Citywide.
yeah.
okay.
So,
So glad the attorney general will give us the green light.
okay,
Right.
They give us the green light,
three
whatever
months
we
to
just
grow.
say.
okay.
But it may take time, council, to show when
This
it's
may be a
just.
short-term solution
Yeah,
to a
She
long-term
just
problem.
got it.
Yeah,
But
she just got.
But no, we're not gonna wait on him.
No, we're gonna go ahead and put it on consent agenda.
And I mean, also, this is some things that I just, in my absence, I don't know what you all committed to, but that brown the YMCA money,
They got
think
money
about where, if it's not being committed, what y'all all would like to see happen with
Cut
that.
some grass.
Okay.
40-some thousand
Lots of
then.
grass and
Hold
limbs.
on, guys, if I can get back to my report, thank you so much. Drug testing on the personnel, I read our manual, we're not doing as many drug tests, maybe because we don't have as many labor, workers. However, our personnel department personnel manual did say that all public safety and, that's fire and police will be, randomly tested at least on an annual basis. So I read that today, based on the number, because I used to perform your all screening. We're not going by what we used to do, which was quarterly, which kept us in compliance with the drug-free workplace. But we've only spent $585, so that may be 5 screenings. And don't forget the Department of Transportation, which are those CDL licenses. They're required to do it more than the annual that we have for public safety. So we may need to utilize that. I want to bring that to you all's attention. Also, I've looked at some things here, like in building repairs and maintenance for our cemetery department. We budgeted $6,000. We're over $1,800 at $7,800. I don't know what we've purchased. Those are the things that I want to bring to the council's attention. It's another thing that caught me off guard. Fixed assets in the cemetery department. We're not cutting any grass. We're not cleaning any cemeteries. And based on the payroll, we have 4 employees out there. Based on the payroll, it's 4 people being paid out of the cemetery department.
Mr. Coon.
So we budgeted $12,000, but we spent $19,000. So we're over $7,000. I don't know what we spent that money on.
Well,
This is all before this wave, so that's why I'm bringing it.
Some things I can provide you a quick answer to.
Right.
That's
Cemetery department fixed assets over 5,000. That's on page 11.
Bring the department head and come tell us.
51055.
So we spent $19,392. We're over $7,392.
Can the department head tell us what you spent it on?
well, it could be. I'm just gonna make a note of it, because some of the things is like we've had the cemetery brick walls be torn down. It may be the insurance will come in. It just has not been appropriated. Right. So I'm just getting acclimated, and I went through this with my staff. So some of the stuff is a matter of us having to go back and make those adjustments. But I'll make note of everything that you're asking.
Right. If it's brought to your attention, then the auditors won't get us next year with another 200. Or they said we didn't do something right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So we got the insurance paid for the wall, over out there at Lorenzo Harris Cemetery?
Yeah.
How much money it paid?
I don't know. I'll look
You have to
into
get that
it.
for you.
We have a deductible.
How long that been?
I'll have to ask.
It's not fixed.
No, that's what I'm asking you. Cause that when I went out there the last time was down, so I'm asking you.
I know they
She just saying she
repair, but I'll
You
have
say you
an
been
answer.
had the money, just ain't repaired.
No. They have to wait till they have to wait till it comes out and the claims adjuster comes out. They do evaluation, then they send a check to the clerk's office.
Oh.
But they don't have to wait. They can use their line item budget and then their revenue.
I just wanna know when the check came.
I'll have.
Okay. This is one thing that caught my attention because, we've been trying to raise money. We've waited to this hot time to try to get the Smilderman building fixed. These 3 ladies met with the Friends of the Smilderman building, and they donated $10,000 to help us out because we're broke. We don't have any money. And yet in the buildings repair and maintenance fund, we have $85,000.
What?
And all we spent all year long on maintenance thus far is like $3,600.
$85,000?
$85,000 building maintenance. And so can I get my
Oh, my oil
lease back? And can we pay it?
Wait, hold on.
Well,
They may need clarity on that at the buildings department, because we did move that amount into unappropriated, and maybe they need an explanation that if they need something done, they still can use it in unappropriated.
It's not, they didn't move it in unappropriated.
We did. I don't
But
know,
he didn't
this
move it.
paper is reading one thing, but we moved it, remember?
Y'all
We
better watch
moved
it.
it to unappropriated. We moved almost everything out of public buildings.
Sure did.
And we said that when they need something, they are to come and let us know what is
If they
needed.
come with this
and how-
$3,600?
No,
Right.
and it's supposed to be in unappropriated.
Wow.
And it's not. And we
Who's
need.
doing this? Who's making these calls?
In the budget,
Right.
if y'all look at it, we moved almost all of that money
I remember.
We
But
know.
can we
to unappropriated.
Can we appropriate that?
Yes,
for
that's
the
why we did it.
Smilderman building, if, Madam Treasurer, if you can find
That's
that
why
we
we
have
did
enough
it.
money, to pay the $23,000.
We did it for, yeah,
You
we
did,
did.
Bob.
Oh,
Like
I
Councilman
promise.
Bowling?
Yeah, yeah.
If y'all remember correctly, when we were going through the budget, that
On the-
law set out
on the
there.
appropriate, it was
about-
like 80 some, they had 100 and some thousand. We took almost all of, like, it may be the amount Councilwoman just said, exactly.
No, I thought it was supplies.
It was 120.
Supplies in one line item.
They had 120 something.
All right, Councilman Bowling?
I'd be curious to see if that 3,600 wasn't involved with that lull that set out there for 3 or 4 weeks while we were going through laying off employees, that lull that set out there for the city to work on that. Because remember, they didn't spend any money up until right when we get ready to go to the budget. Then they spent a lot of money fixing the building they're actually housed in. That was rotting around them, which is ridiculous. Again, once I mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. The buildings department does not need to exist. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, and the people do not do their job, and it's time for that to go away and save the city some money. I don't know why we do it. It was a political decision created under the Evans administration. It is a waste of money. So I'm sick and tired of funding that damn thing. It needs to go.
It was not created under Evans
Who?
administration.
Perkins administration. They used to be handling tax and license, used to handle it. Did it not, Ms. Jones over there, did she not?
Okay.
So I don't know why we need a whole department just to not do anything for a whole year, every year, is ridiculous.
All right, Ms.
Okay,
White?
can I,
Okay.
You clear on what she need on that?
you say you're not clear?
She is.
She is, okay. All right, let's go to the police department. And so I'm hitting my, I'm at public safety now. So the police department, I'm concerned about our record services. Because we budgeted $2,100 for record services. Someone has amended the budget, and that's one of the items that I spoke with Ms. Wade about. And you can move it within 10% of your, I'm sorry.
Can I
12.
just?
Yes, ma'am.
When we talk about minutes, I'm getting back, as you know, they input the budget, but they input it incorrectly. So some of the things that you're seeing as an amendment because it's always been in place, you all voted for a 10% rule, right?
Mhm, 10%.
Not to move anything above 10% requires council approval. But in my office, they wasn't sure how to input the budget, so they went back and made amendments. They did it.
Who did it, they said?
They did it, trial and error learning, and so some of these are not actual.
Wait a minute.
Well, but I'm just saying that this is what happened, and this is what happened.
This is what happened when you lose a treasure.
That's
in the
right.
budget
They
process.
did what they wanted to do.
Professional.
Yeah, so that's what
That's why we
happened,
can't
and some
sign
of
on
the things
the
are
sheets.
on, so we have to try to work correct, and I did go over with my county manager, and we are working, trying to resolve the issue. But if you would allow me, before I forget, one of the major issues and I don't know, Councilwoman, we probably talked about it, but, is that we're not receiving our revenue for our court fees like we normally have. We're way below. And not only that, the DA office is not getting theirs. We're getting at like maybe a quarter of what we normally receive right now. And I have a response from, which I will forward to you all, from the chief magistrate. But some of the concern is cases being dismissed and officers not showing up. So you all need to be put on notice about that, because that does affect our revenue.
Yes, it does. Yes, ma'am.
So what happened?
We put in the administrative committee about the attorneys, right? Because we hadn't made a decision from November.
Where's the money?
Attorneys.
Judges.
Judges.
So who been
There it is. I call them attorneys because I see them over there, but they're our judges over here. Okay, record service. What I'm least concerned with the budget amendment of $700. I'm more concerned with how much we're spending at 2465, 94% of our budget. What record services? So if my car was told, I pay for it. Yeah. So what cars are we towing, and why are we having to pay so much? I mean, it's just the $175. Are they towing them back to our lot? Because I was informed that the $14,000 that we spent on record services was because we took it to a certain lot and we forgot it was there. Inventory. And so it stayed there too long. And so we had to go back and get it, and realize that we owed that much money. And I guess that was our way of, maybe it was more.
Unless this is just a racket.
Maybe it was more. I don't know if it's a racket, but I know.
It's happened before, and this is a repeat of the same thing.
It has happened before.
Did it happen before?
We were charged by a certain record service saying that there were police cars that sit in his lot, and that we need to pay X number of dollars because it had accumulated, and it was a back and forth with the former chief. because, and then we had to incur a large fee. So someone, should have assumed the responsibility of making sure it not happen.
Right, somebody got to make sure when they don't take them to their lot, but they take them to, I mean, that should be a courtesy. We put you on our rotation. If it's a police vehicle or something that we need, it should go to ours. We need to have a secure lot even for evidence vehicles, because what the chief said to me is that there are some vehicles that they have to have on a secure lot because they have to have it for trial. But we're still collecting fees for trial, so we need to make sure that we have it on something.
We have to have a secure lot.
They have a lot.
Where is it?
Out there.
And
And
public
let me
works.
ask y'all, was that our lot? You know I ride a lot, and I spotted one with a lot of.
It was to my understanding, the
Police
city
cars.
don't have a lot because of liability, and the records is on a rotational basis. And they will bear the responsibility of liability since it's on their
They're
lot.
keeping the car.
Is
But
there any way we can secure it in public works, in the public works lot or something?
Well, once again, you know, when
It's
people,
police
cars are
cars.
told,
Their evidence technicians need to be keeping up with it, or somebody, there needs to be somebody assigned.
We shouldn't be paying record
see,
service
it's one thing is city
$14,000.
vehicle, one thing is your vehicle.
Right.
None of
One
that.
thing.
Now, with their vehicle, I'm not saying, but I'm saying this, we paid $14,000 for a police vehicle.
Yeah,
Police
that's right.
station.
We did that last year.
I'm not gonna put it where it was. I mean, it's on the report, the 3,000 page report. I'll show you about,
And we $14,000 worth of forgot.
I think it was
$14,600.
$14,600.
Doesn't this need to go into a committee to get worked out?
Yeah.
What is, doesn't?
Public
Public safety
Public
committee,
safety.
that's why I found a lot with some police cars on it.
Let me, hold on, let me finish this, because I know we all are hot and tired. But public safety, if we look at equipment and firearms, we're being bashed for not providing our officers with what they need. And all we've spent the entire year is $1,294.95.
Wow.
I mean, it's here,
So they don't
$30,000.
need the stuff anymore.
I don't know.
We can't get no credit.
Right,
They
but
don't
it's
need-
here.
They don't need the stuff we appropriated anymore.
We're here, we were told that we have a JAG grant and a traffic grant that pays for salaries. Do y'all recall that meeting? Based on this report, we don't have any funding in those items. It's zeroed out. So please understand that, even though, what you say?
You talking about the expenses?
Yep.
Well, what happens is typically is that when, they don't know what the amount is gonna be billed until the salaries actually occur. And then they submit it to the federal government for reimbursement, then we get the money back. So they don't budget that amount.
You know, but-
No.
So even though we
Draw it
got
down, right?
Right,
police,
because they have to be
traffic,
drawn down. And
grant, salary line item, and JAG special detail line item, we never use it.
we never budgeted for it because it's contingent on how many hours they're using.
Okay,
And
so that
we-
negative 12,000
Right,
is
it's
probably gonna be money
It's just
coming
showing that those salaries hit that line item, that's the money that has to be drawn down. Once we get the check, the revenue is deposited in that line item. We don't budget for it because it's contingent on how much. I mean, there are some things that I could tell you on the side, as a sidebar and show you why it's like that.
Okay, because we don't have anything in any of them. Let's go through a couple more. This is my big thing, information technology. We appropriated $100,000 more in there. Now, I thought we were appropriating an additional $100,000 because Chief Stevens continually came to us and said he needed New World equipment to be in compliance. Is that not why we did it?
That's why we did it.
That's why we did it.
Okay, so we spent more than we spent all of last year, but based on our last conversation with Chief Stevens, he didn't have New World equipment.
But they still don't.
We spent $194,000 last year, thus far this year. Year-to-date transactions, $212,000.
Where you
Where are we spending all our money?
IT.
Cameras.
Yes,
$212,000?
took pictures of people putting the cameras up all over.
Big brother,
Emails, it
small.
doesn't work.
Okay, this is another thing we spent money on in the IT department. Fixed access, over $5,000. We have budgeted $57,000. We spent year-to-date $14,000. Now, that look like that might be cameras. No?
Well, you know,
That should only, is it used to?
well, you know, they had to put
And we also spent 14,000 non-fixed access over 4,000. So we spent like $28,000. But we spent 212 of, and we spent 194 all of last year, 212, 6 months additional.
well, you know, we had to get the new, we put new cameras.
Miss Wade, if you could please.
The fixed asset over $5,000, that is for the phone system, the functionality, the phone system we have, the projector system we have, in the mayor's office, and
one
the
answers.
convention center, and over at the police
And all that
department.
new stuff,
That's
we
that
ain't get
5-year
no
lease
answer.
agreement, and next year will be our final payment. So that 57,000, that's what was budgeted for, but if it's not going into that account, then that's something that I need to check with the staff and see why that didn't happen.
You don't need one phone, no one answers any phones here.
Nobody answers
Okay,
now.
go ahead,
They
Councilman
all have
Jackson.
cell phones.
Well, I'm
That's what
Council,
I mean, why don't you do a regular phone
Treasurer,
system
Madam Treasurer, if you could just tell us where we spent 212,000, because if anyone asks me today, I can't tell them.
Yes,
She can tell us.
I know she can, I'll bring it to
There's a
you.
magic.
Okay, Public Works, let's go right quick, and I'll be finished with my report. Public Works, we have vehicle repairs and maintenance for 120,000. So I said, oh, okay, that must be payments on the new vehicles. No. Then we got a fixed access over 5,000 for 222,000. And so those are the payments, I would assume, I would imagine. Because we spent 178,000 already, which was about the amount of those 2-year contracts. And we haven't spent as much, so we have $100,370 remaining in that line item. And that's what I was looking at, since it's Public Works, for us to use to get our grants, either to hire some of our people back part-time and get them to work on our bush hog, zero turns that they gave, getting us in all our equipment that we had, or to contract with someone, because that's what it's here for.
That's what I go on.
Yeah, they ain't gonna, oh, people get there on the club, they not gonna work part-time. Cut this stuff off.
The pothole truck?
They-
The problem is getting asphalt.
Asphalt, or doing a time,
Well, now it's hot, so we should have problem getting asphalt now.
Oh, it's hard to get asphalt, man, I just got to do, it took me almost 3 weeks to get some
They don't
asphalt.
open that plant.
Oh, the county been getting asphalt.
All right, Councilman Jackson, you
It's
through?
gotta be a certain different one.
I am through. What I would like for the council to consider is, opening up some of that funding in Public Works to hire some people, to cut our city right-of-ways and to work in our cemetery, part-time. And I know if we get our right-of-ways cut, if we use the $5,000, that's gonna be temporary, because if we go with a company to cut all our right-of-ways, it may take us 2 months, but we still haven't done anything about our 3 or 4 cemeteries that are still out there. And I'm telling you, we did a great job.
Y'all did a
This
wonderful
hot.
job.
And I hit a bug on the top of my head and smashed it. I really don't, if I can stay out of it.
Go ahead.
As chairman of the Public Works Committee, I got a problem with that, but I would prefer that we meet with Mr. Hendricks before we start, intercepting his budget. Let's check with him to let him know what our intention is, maybe he can share with us some of the things he wanna do, so let's do that.
That 5,000,
Mr.
5,000,
Henry,
45,000.
45,000, and then, Mr. President
still put
can
that on
help us,
consent, right?
he can help us with the right of way, because he's citywide.
45,000 for, I guess.
yeah, we're gonna put that on consent agenda.
162, the, vehicle repair and maintenance, is that what you're saying?
So,
I mean, I don't mind.
I'll write it up and email it to you, how it should go, where it should come, where you're saying it's recommended coming from, and then give you the grass cutting line item number.
yeah, email that to me, put it on Saturday.
All right.
But we got grass up to our hip.
Line item is coming from
Yeah,
him.
please, I
Okay.
put it on
Grass
consent.
up to my hip in my ward.
Anything else?
No,
Anything else?
nope.
Okay, last question. Whenever we do a contract for employee, shouldn't it be voted on?
To hire somebody?
To hire,
Just
Contract with someone.
contract to do work
Yes.
with the
We
city.
contract
Any
them.
contract.
That's just like with, career leave.
right.
All right, we did that, contract. It should come before the council.
Yeah, anything.
But are we had
Working
two
IT or
guys
whatever.
in IT, a contract?
No, we didn't, we.
No.
I mean, we didn't hire, but I'm saying, like, they do contracts.
We
We did
never-
Green,
we
we
never
have
approved the
contract with
contract.
other guys.
With, Gabe,
We never voted, but they are
Because,
contract.
and then you gotta keep in mind that, what's that? The-
bid one.
The bid law number one, number two, that, oh, God.
Happy Memorial Day.
I
Happy Memorial Day to you as well.
That Benson, we got to make sure that,
It doesn't go over the,
Cumulative.
yeah.
Yeah.
and the
Right,
rule
right.
that you all established for yourself, that $5,000 contract, over a certain period of
Has to
time.
come
But
to
see,
us.
that can come in, you know, as far as with that, I think it's a Benson Act or something, I can't remember.
Benson
Yeah,
Hedges.
yeah.
Benson Hedges.
That can be in jeopardy too,
Yeah, we gotta be careful.
if, you know, if they come in and we're not in compliance. So that's another thing we need to take a look at.
Give me a
They
lawnmower.
just
I want a
spending money.
lawnmower.
All right, so email that to me, we can go down for that.